Well, hello there. It has been a long time, but the past couple of weeks I've been itching to kind of get back into content, and I've kind of figured out a way to do it. And I kind of going into 2026, I want to make something more consistent, something that has some schedule, some kind of rigidity to posting content. I'll just give a brief rundown of this past year. Got a promotion at work, which means less stuff in my ears and more talking with people. So I haven't really been listening to nearly as much music as the other year, but I've still been listening to music. You're still going to get a top albums of 2020. Probably not going to do a worst albums list because I didn't really have time to listen to garbage. So, but it's also with work and managing life with family, managing life with my child, my daughter, just kind of juggling life. But I finally figured out something that can work into 2026. But I was trying to figure out a way of what video I could use to hop back into this. And when I started this channel, hip hop was the number one focus of the channel for the most part. I still ventured into multiple different genres, and I still love doing that. But rap was the main crux of why I made this channel. And throughout the course of 2025, mainstream rap kind of insulted my music taste and my favorite genre. It kind of just was insulting to witness of really the one of the worst years of mainstream rap that I can even think of or experience in my lifetime. Now, I will preface that I started listening to rap and kind of just more vast genres of music in 2013. So maybe I didn't experience any other years before that, but just in my listening of this year, and that's not to say all it's been bad. Again, I have quite a lengthy list of my top albums of the year. There's quite a bit of rap albums on there. But when it comes to mainstream rap, this thing that is pushed forward and displayed the most, I feel that it just really didn't do it for me this year. And I decided to tackle 5 records and kind of just break it down as to why I was just kind of disappointed with 2025 as a whole in the mainstream sphere. So let's start off with the video that I posted that originally made me and caused a dip. I posted the review of this album. I was not very impressed with the video at all because I wasn't really fully there. But now we can revisit it, and it's still not that good. So it's Drake and Party Next Door. Now, this isn't a really fully rap project. It's a little bit more of an R&B kind of rap mix, but it still falls into that mainstream rap kind of atmosphere. So the score is still really bad at a 47 and a user score of a 36. This is, of course, the major debut of Drake post the rap beef of Kendrick Lamar, of all the hailstorm of that kind of mess. And I think the approach of coming back with an R&B album was actually a pretty good idea. And it kind of allows Drake to kind of fall back into something he's a little bit more familiar with, but something he hasn't really delved into a heavy amount. And to have a primarily focused R&B project should have worked a lot better than what we got. But I think with this project, it's just really a comatose, boring, kind of meh mess. It's very mediocre. Now, you do get some really fun songs like Nokia. I do grown to like CN Tower, and Die Trying may be one of Drake's best ballads and songs of this decade. It's really a great song, especially with the guitar, and I think that Drake's melody is fantastic. Party Next Door's chorus is amazing. And I'm trying to think, is it Yeba? I think it's Yeba on the last little bit. It's just a perfect song. But we really didn't get that kind of quality material across this whole project. Of course, there's the awful tracks like Meet Your Padre. Give Me a Hug was kind of a response to all the stuff that was happening with the rap beef. I didn't think it was enough. And overall, this project, it really just came and went from the time it was released for me. And this will allow me to also talk about an aside of the Iceman rollout, which has been, let's be honest, it's been a total disaster. The first episode of Iceman was interesting, What Did I Miss is a fun song. I think Which One Was Central C? Central C kind of steals the show there. I think Central C has the better charisma on the mic, and it really is just his song with Drake stamped onto it. But each subsequent episode that we've gotten of the Iceman series has gotten worse and worse and worse. Doghouse is really nothing to talk about, but I will say that from Doghouse, I found Julia Wolf and Pressure and In My Room, Jennifer's Body, some of the most played songs of this year. Julia Wolf is fantastic, but Doghouse itself, not a great track. Drake just seems lost. And this Iceman album, it's kind of being dragged out, and it's not like I'm really anticipating Iceman, it's more of kind of anticipating of where it's going to go, because I feel like we're reaching some pretty bad territory. And For All the Dogs and Some Sexy Songs for You have already been pretty lackluster experiences, and I feel like it could get worse with Iceman, but we'll leave it at that. Now, Playboi Carti's music is on here. Now, as you can see, critic score of a 67, user score of a 59. It's a relatively okay received project. The biggest problem I had with it is that, especially coming off Whole Lotta Red, which, I'll be honest, not the hugest fan of Whole Lotta Red either, but it definitely was an experiment and definitely was something that you could say that shifted the culture for sure, created a whole new subgenre really in rap, which was like rage and also the vamp aesthetic. It really caused a movement in the scene. I feel like with music, though, I feel like it just really didn't do that this time around. Also, not to mention, I feel like this album is just super bloated. On my Spotify Wrapped, Playboi Carti was my number one. But I feel like when I saw that Playboi Carti was number one on my Wrapped, I kind of got a little upset because, again, the track list is 30 tracks long. Not to mention with the deluxe, I think it brings it to 34 or 35. And there's some good songs on here. Let's be honest. I think Pop Out's a great intro. I really like the choral aesthetic of Crush. Travis Scott's feature on Philly is fantastic. Mojo Jojo, I know a lot of people don't like that song, but I really like the back and forth that Kendrick and Playboi Carti have. It's one of my favorite songs actually on the project. Good Credit's also on there. There's a lot of great songs on this thing, but again, it is so incredibly bloated, and also a lot of these songs are relatively short that they really just don't strike an impact. And especially again with 30 tracks, I'm not going to go back to this album and listen to it in full, because I only have so much in my day to really dedicate and focus on listening to music. And to have to sit there for 30 straight tracks, even if these tracks are short, just looking at it on a list, I see it and it's just like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to have the time for this. So, of course, I've listened to Playboi Carti's music a lot because there's so many tracks out. But again, it really just doesn't do anything for me. It didn't really cause Playboi Carti to elevate as an artist. Sometimes production-wise, I feel like there is some potential there to do something more. But I feel like this is just kind of throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks and see what happens. I feel like 2020 was Stop Breathing, and like all these songs off of Whole Lotta Red made so much more of a lasting impact and will continue to have a lasting impact. And I think music will still have moments, but I don't think it's going to really strike a chord with the rap kind of zeitgeist when it comes to the 2020s. I just feel like it didn't do enough. Now we move on to JACKBOYS 2. From JACKBOYS, Travis Scott. Now the original JACKBOYS, I love. I think it's almost like a cult classic to me, in my opinion. You have songs like Gotti, you have Out West, you have Gang Gang. There's so many great songs on a little trim 7-track project. It's great. And it also allows, too, in this JACKBOYS experience, in these 7 tracks, you do get a good mix of all of the JACKBOYS members. And I feel like they all offer something to the table. we'll never get a Luxury Tax 50 project or something like that, but his feature on Gang Gang is fantastic. But on JACKBOYS 2, when you pretty much double the track list, you could think it's just like, okay, that means we're going to get a whole lot more of the JACKBOYS label, the Cactus Jack label. But we really don't. It's more of a Travis Scott project with some Cactus Jack members following along. There is, of course, some songs with Sofego. You've Gotta Love My Bitch from Sheck West. You still get those songs on there from the JACKBOYS members. But they really don't strike an impact much at all. And again, there's a lot more of Travis Scott on this project, which I mean makes sense. He's like the lead member of this thing. But Travis is really phoning it in on this record. It feels like the creative fervor and the energy that he had, even from Utopia just a couple years prior, it's just not there right now. And I'm starting to wonder if that creative energy and streak is it gone, or is it just kind of at a low point for right now? Because the performances on here from Travis are just so weak and lackluster. Now, there's still some good tracks on here. I think Beat Beat with Some Baby is fantastic. I do like Dumbo. 4x4 was okay. Just the Travis Scott experience this year just wasn't really enough. And that's, I think, a big thing from this year. If you kind of look at this list that I put down here, I don't really think they're trying. And I don't think that they're really expanding their horizons and expanding their sound, really diving into anything interesting or kind of ear-catching or something innovative and interesting. It's just not really happening from this year. And I don't know, when the year is all said and done, I think 2025 for mainstream rap is just a year of nothing. And a year of, like, did we even try? And we just kind of really phoned it in. I think this is the year where I can say that mainstream rap has definitely phoned it in. But with JACKBOYS 2, that just feels especially the case. Because, I mean, you get songs like Shine that are just utterly ridiculous. And sure, they're funny for the first couple of times. But it's just embarrassing. Like, it's just totally embarrassing. Especially when you consider, again, just a couple years ago, Travis Scott released songs like My Eyes. And songs like Sirens. And songs like Hyena. There's so many great songs off Utopia. And, of course, there's the whole back catalog of Travis Scott that's just S tier. Some of the best trap music ever songs. And then we get an album like JACKBOYS 2. And even the JACKBOYS members just really are also seen to be phoning it in, and it doesn't really offer anything interesting. And again, with a track list that literally doubles its size from the first one, you'd expect more from your members, but it really doesn't seem to be happening on this project. Critic score of a 46 and a 44. I'm honestly around that range too. Maybe even go like a 3 out of 10 on the project. Whew. This one was rough. And this one kind of has a little bit of a backstory to it. I was really excited for UI SCUTI. When Money on Money came out, I played that song to death. I didn't realize that people didn't like that song until the album was released. And I was listening to it in a live reaction on the NFR podcast live stream. I didn't realize it was hated as much as it was. But I love that track. And I was going to pre-order merch. I was going to buy the album. And I was excited for UI SCUTI. But we know the result. We know the album cover. We know Ninja. The first track is... wow. This is one of the worst rap projects of this decade. And that's really sad to say. Because Young Thug could have had so much to talk about, so much to rap about, even though his topics that he usually does are rather limited considering the circumstances. You still could get a really interesting project from Young Thug. But we didn't get it. This is Young Thug lost. This is Young Thug misdirected, misguided, and a mess. You have terrible production choices like like fucking told you. We have the shock and awe of Ninja that maybe is, again, like kind of shine. It's funny the first time, or it's shocking the first time, but then you realize that that kind of moment, you know what I'm talking about, ruins the entire experience of the song. And that's really sad because that's one of the best songs on the project. And I feel like this whole album was a throwaway. It's shovelware. It's useless. It doesn't provide anything of substance or anything of worth. And look what they did. Look the way they massacred my boy. It's just a really bad project. And again, I was excited for it. I think what I've learned from this year of 2025 is when it's a mainstream rap project, maybe I shouldn't get as excited as I should. Maybe with Don't Be Dumb, especially considering how many times it's been rolled back and delayed, I'm not going to be as excited as I was before, because judging by the mainstream rap that I've been receiving, I'm bound to be disappointed. And let's end it off with, I think, what I would consider as the revival of the 2020s. And what I mean by that is revival by Eminem, where Eminem jumped the shark. Eminem really doubled down on some terrible crossovers, terrible samples, some of the worst writing he's ever done. The Carter 6 by Lil Wayne, 47 critic score, 33 user score. The first two tracks are okay. Welcome to the Carter, even though I think the sample was probably AI. It's good. Lil Wayne has a fire in his raps. He's rapping incredibly well. You still get those double entendres. But it's a slow descent for the first couple of tracks once you get to Sharks of freaking Jelly Roll. There's hip hop with Big X the Plug. But once you kind of hit that little decline, all of a sudden, if this is like going like this, a pure downfall, like straight down, the Carter 6 actually does like this, where it goes backwards into some of the worst rap of the decade. It's honestly Lil Dicky Peanut bad. That was my worst rap album of 2024. This sometimes reaches that level of bad. Now, Lil Dicky Peanut is terribly unfunny. It's a comedy album. But I think what makes it worse is that this is Lil Wayne. This is the Carter 6. This is a legendary rap series. One of the most profound legendary rap series of all time. And to get a rebirth album out of it is disgusting. Of course, we know of Peanuts to an Elephant. Lin-Manuel Miranda, Never Touch a Board Again. You get Island in the Sun with the Weezer covers. It's baffling of how terrible this record is. Sometimes it's even funny bad, where I can listen to it and be like, that will give me a chuckle. But I mean, overall, this project is awful. And that's another thing too, like, Lil Wayne, established legend. Young Thug, I think, is an established legend now. He hasn't been around nearly as much as Lil Wayne, but Young Thug is a legend. Drake is a legend. And you got Playboi Carti and JACKBOYS, which is pretty much Travis Scott, that were pioneers into the 2010s, and they've lost their fire in the 2020s. So, to break down of why I was so insulted by rap this year, is that rappers phoned it in, the legends phoned it in, and are out of ideas, and it's just a big waste of time. And these are our front runners of my favorite genre of music. And to have this kind of quality material coming out of the mainstream rap scene, no wonder why this scene is dying. Now, it can come back. there was still some very good quality mainstream projects, which I will be talking about in my top albums of the year. But overall, the time that I did put into mainstream rap this year, I got little to nothing out of it. So that is my story, and I'm sticking to it. And for those of you who have come back to watch this video, thank you for coming back. Thank you for giving me the time to kind of grow a little bit. And if you're new here, thanks for stopping by. You can like, subscribe if you want. It's totally up to you. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. And I'll be posting some more videos very soon. Thank you for your time.